Okay, so in this question, we want to consider the short-run aggregate supply curves on the following graph, and more specifically, what would cause the movements from point A to point B or from point A to point C. So let's consider the first one. From point A to point B, there's a movement along the short-run aggregate supply curve 1 over here, which results from an increase in the price level. As the price level increases, there is an increased potential to further your profit margins, and so suppliers will supply more at a higher price level. The next situation is movements from point A to point C. This would result from a outward shift in the short-run aggregate supply curve, from short-run aggregate supply curve 1 to the second one over here. Now, the movement from point A to point C would result from multiple different factors, and let's consider a few of them now. One would be an increase in production inputs, such as labor force or capital stock. A second one would be a favorable change in technology of production, which in turn would increase the productivity of workers in the economy and thus increase real GDP. Third, you could have an increase in the expectation of the workers and firms about the decline in the future general price level. And lastly, there could be some kind of favorable supply shock, and that could come in the form of a reduction in oil prices or other inputs, which would in turn reduce the cost of production and ultimately result in an outward shift in the supply curve.